Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Dill. Another Sunday morning, and another morning where we're getting up here and talking about this USC offense as one of, if not the most dynamic offenses that you see in the country. And it starts with quarterback position, Dill. Like, Jay, this is a new version of the quarterback that we saw in 2024. And I think a lot of USC fans had question marks about Jayden and the consistency that he could give you at the quarterback spot. Those questions are getting answered really damn quick to start 2025. And Dill, it's not only what you're seeing on the field. Like, go look at this kid on the sideline. Like, the vibes, the aura, as the young bucks like to say, it's different coming from this kid. Now, as much as I wanted to get up here and start with Jayden at quarterback, the biggest story is the offensive line. And it's not close. Still, I think this might have been the best offensive line performance that we've seen in USC in a couple of years. Here's the kicker. You lost your all-conference left tackle on Elijah Page halfway through that football game, came out in street clothes in the second half. That's the biggest question mark I had for USC was, hey, I think the starting five can actually be pretty damn good. Not really sure about the depth of the offensive line. Dill, you lost Elijah Page. Justin T goes from right tackle to left tackle. Tobias Raymond goes from left guard to right tackle in this football game. You didn't skip a beat. You still ran the football very well. You still were keeping Jayden clean in the pocket. This offensive line, of which we thought was a really big question going into 2025, specifically from a depth standpoint, was awesome against Michigan State late Saturday night. It's the biggest question we had. Now, here's the thing. We're 4-0, winning football games by multiple scores. There's still a lot to clean up, specifically on defense. We're going to get into that too, because that might be the most important question we can, or conversation, I should say, that we can have. When we give Lincoln Riley and give Jayden all the flowers in the world, they deserve it. If this USC team wants to make the college football playoffs, there are certainly things to clean up. No, I think USC's best football is still ahead of them. And it's going to have to be that way if USC does want to make the college football playoffs. A lot to get into. Fired up to do so. Before we do, and as always, to the USC fans, we say this all the time. There are not many fan bases that show the love that y'all show to the boys. We appreciate it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And Dill, how about a vibe check in the comment section going into that Illinois game? Because that was an Illinois team that gave up, 60 points to Indiana, over 600 yards of total offense. Lincoln Riley and Jayden probably licking their chops right now watching film Sunday morning. All right, Dill, I'm going to give you the T-box here. Biggest takeaways from USC on the offensive side of the football?
It's probably got to be the offensive line, right? And I'm more coming around to your take that Jayden Maiava's turned the corner. Like, that was a really impressive game from him. I felt like, again, he's still making his highlight throws. The connection with Mekhi Lemon is still uniquely a problem for the rest of college football. I did think there were some plays, like, again, just great composure on some big third downs. Like that scramble.
8 of 11.
That scramble in the third quarter might have been the biggest play in the game because they go punt there. You probably end up with a tied game.
I mean, Dill, that's the storyline about Jayden. That's what I love about what we're seeing from this kid is if you want to consistently win games, you're going to need that from your quarterback at times where I just got to put the team on my back and go make some plays. And Jayden can do that. But at the same time, we're not seeing him do the stuff that like made us scratch our heads last year. I mean, that ability to walk that line, be a game changer, be a difference maker when you need to, but also not put the ball in harm's way. That's what we needed to see. And it is very clear we're getting that from this kid to start 2025.
And you got to see it against a team that, again, like USC is certainly more talented team than Michigan State right now, but Michigan State is quite a bit more talented than the teams USC's played the past couple of weeks. So you get to see it against, again, a Big Ten opponent, a team that is really well coached for the most part, and what Jonathan Smith does. So I think the fact that, they were never able to rattle him really once in this football game is big. Because
I totally agree with that. And how about the storyline of like, look, USC probably should have been up 3 scores at one point. I think they might have been up 3 scores at one point and kind of started snowballing in the wrong direction, right? Like you have that penalty on the punt, then you have the illegal substitution, and then you give up a score. And all of a sudden, Dill, when Jayden made that scramble to extend the drive, USC was only up 7. Like there's a real reality where USC's punting the football back to Michigan State only up by a touchdown. the game started to snowball a little bit in the third quarter. Last year, we saw that too. And USC lost those football games. To get the ball going back in the right direction, huge from USC. Now, Dill, I feel like we got to talk about the offensive line. I'll give you the T-box. What stood out to you the most on the offensive line last night?
I think it was the physicality. Like, this was the first game where I felt like I saw a lot of guys getting moved. Like,
Yeah,
Tobias Raymond, to me, really
best
moving
player.
guys off line of scrimmage.
So
Jelani
good.
Noah, big bounce back game for a guy who's had a
Yeah,
slow start. He had really good moments last year, maybe some not good moments
yeah,
last year. This is the type of game you just need from him game in and game
yeah,
out. So I look like this to me, it was about the physicality. Like, the rushing tech even has been good at times when the offensive line hasn't been moving guys because they are really creative with it. And Wayman Jordan
yep,
is such a problem in space. But I did think the fact that they could just in between the tackles move guys around and run
yeah.
it that way, it's really good to be able to see that
The
from
the left side of that offensive line with Elijah Page healthy was they were ass kickers, man. Like Elijah Page and Tobias Raymond on that left side are absolute dogs. Then my concern was, well, now Tobias Raymond's got to go to guard to right tackle in the second half. He looked awesome at both positions, and like Tobias Raymond, golf clap, man, because that is extremely hard to do. And I thought he was the best offensive lineman on the field. And I like your Alani Noah shout out, Dill. We just got to find that level for Alani because there are some real highs, and it goes from a play to play basis, right? Like you see some really good stuff from this kid, and then you see some stuff that's not so good. Can he consistently become a guy that we can lean on? Because when he's playing good football, he's moving bodies and he can dominate. It's not always consistent, and the bads are pretty damn bad. I was in Justin T's growing up. He's great. I feel like this kid's gotten better every single game he's played. Like going back to his true freshman year when he had to play against Texas A&M, and then he just slowly continue to get better. And then he had to go from right tackle to left tackle. Doesn't really skip a beat. Really, really impressive stuff. And then Dill, Wayman Jordan. I mean, where do you put him in like the Big Ten running back power rankings? I don't know if there's many running backs, not only in the Big Ten, but in the country that I'm taking over Wayman Jordan. He had 8 missed tackles forced that football game, over 142 yards after contact. Wayman Jordan's an absolute dog.
And he's just so electric in this scheme because they're able to get him in space at times, and
Yeah,
that's where he really pops because the acceleration, the ability
is
to make guys
nuts.
miss quickly. I
Yeah,
mean, just really unique athlete and the getting himself out in space. But I also do see like good instincts as a runner in between the tackles. And Eli Sanders, I don't want to like let him be overshadowed because I do think
yep,
he's playing much
agreed.
better. Like early on in the season, I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be pretty clear Wayman Jordan exclusive almost in the backfield. Eli Sanders, I think, is really starting to carve out a role in this team in the way he's running because
Yeah.
it does look a little better than it did early in the season.
Wayman Jordan, Eli Sanders. That is a and Wayman Jordan. The thing with Eli Sanders, I probably would disagree with you. I don't think he was ever bad. I just there was more my preseason expectations. It's like, is this kid going to be a 15 carry a game kind of guy in the Big Ten? I didn't know. Like thought it was going to be a little bit more pass catching gadget type stuff. No, really, really good running back. 0 sacks, 1 tackle for a loss. That is a winning recipe. Why was USC so good on third downs? Well, when you're not taking negative plays, when you're allowing Lincoln Riley to have that whole playbook open on 3rd and 2, you're going to move the chains a lot. And that's what USC did. And then their ability here where you're efficient, right? You're not taking a lot of negative plays, but you also have that ability to hit game-changing explosive plays. It makes this USC offense so hard to deal with even without Jacoby Lane. He's one of the best pass catchers in America. I like how you're sprinkling in the tight ends. I think Tinakines is going to continue to get better as a
Well, that
football
might
player.
be my one question. Do you think there's a bit of an issue that like no Jacoby Lane and nobody else really gets any sort of feature? Like
Uh,
again, I knew Makai Lemon was going to get
yeah,
the ball for the most part, but I don't know. Would your next receiver have 2 catches? Like that to me is might be one question you come away with. And again, when you got the 2 elite dogs playing the way they are,
yeah.
I get there's not going to be a ton of room, but like going forward, if like one of them have to miss a game, do you almost wish you saw a little bit more? Somebody step up and
I
make some
I
plays. I
would
know they
I
scored a ton of points, so it's like kind of quibbling a little bit, but
I see where you're coming from, and I've heard other USC fans express that. I push back against that. Just because Like, what are you complaining that there's not a third Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon? I don't know if I could point you 6 Jacoby Lane, Mekhi Lemons across the country right now. And I don't think you want to do that, Dill. Like, I want Mekhi Lemon getting 9 targets and having 9 catches for over 100 yards. I want my best players getting the majority of the opportunities. And look, what I love about these guys, they're blocking their tails off. Like, they know they're probably not going to get a ton of opportunities because Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane are 2 of the best pass catchers in America. Do your job, and they're doing it. Especially the tight ends too, sprinkling in the tight ends, sprinkling in the running backs too. I think that storyline of there's not a true wide receiver 3 is getting a little bit overblown, because even if you did have a really good wide receiver 3, you probably still looks the same. Like Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon are probably still getting peppered the way they're getting peppered.
Well, I guess it's almost like, but would it be a huge problem, for example, if Mekhi Lemon had to miss a game? Like, do you have a guy who can remotely replace what they're getting? Because I get it at perfect
Yes,
strength.
that's
Yeah, it
fair.
doesn't really matter because you
Yeah.
got two
Yeah.
like Ferraris, if you will.
Yeah.
Mekhi Lemon, though, he goes down like I
If you
almost
don't
feel
have
like
if you don't
somebody
have
out of
bo-
Saints can replace him.
if you don't have both of those wide, yeah, that might be a problem, 100%. But that's a problem for if you have your 2
Oh,
best
for
players.
sure.
I do think Mekhi Lemon's more important to this offense than Jacoby Lane. And that's not a shot at Jacoby Lane, but Mekhi Lemon's presence and his ability to tack all 3 levels and his ability to move the chain. Because when it's third down, like, it ain't no secret where USC's going. They're going to Mekhi Lemon, and his ability to find space and catch everything thrown his way is unlike any other wide receiver in the country. So I see your concern. That's part of college football, in my opinion. Like, your studs are your studs. All right. Did we cover everything on all? I think we did. All right, let's go to defense. A couple big plays that you got to clean up. You want to start with the good, and then we'll get into what needs to clean up. This pass rush continues to be awesome. 2 sacks, 7 TFLs. Dill, 17 quarterback hurries. Aiden Childs was under pressure 49% of dropbacks in that football game. I know we have question marks in the secondary. Well, guess what? The best way to cover up some of those question marks is have a ferocious pass rush, and that is what USC has in 2025.
And they can get after it with the 4. That's the big thing. Like, they really don't
Mm-hmm.
need to send pressure. Anthony Lucas, to me, is playing so
Dominant,
dominant
man.
right now. I mean,
Yeah.
him and Devin Tompkins, to me, are the 2 best defensive linemen on this team. Like, I think both those guys are really getting
Yeah.
after it. Jakeem Stewart had his, and I know he had a good game last game,
Coming
but
out party.
he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is like a really athletic defensive line, really disruptive. You can't say enough about what they've been able to do in terms of overturning that unit from a couple of years ago that was so bad. Like,
Want to know what's so funny, though, Dale? Like, who are the best players on this defense? It's the guys who've been within this program, right? Like, Keyshawn Silver, solid. Josh Jarrett, solid. But those aren't the real difference makers in this unit. So the guys that have been under Coach New and Coach Henny are the ones who are really standing out. When you have a trio of edge rushers in Braylon Shelby, Cam Crawford now, and that's going to be taking a lot of getting used to, and Anthony Lucas, it's so hard to deal with. And then you sprinkle in Floyd Bucard as a pass rusher, obviously Devin Tompkins and G-Day. What I love about this pass rush is there, and I think I said this the other day, there are so many defenses that are relying on like 1 or 2 players to generate pass rush. And like, you look at South Carolina and say Dylan Stewart. If Dylan Stewart ain't getting after the passer, I don't know how much we're affecting the quarterback. The USC's got 5, 6 guys that I think really can generate both on the edge and on the inside. You can get really creative with what you want to do and where you want to line guys up, because Anthony Lucas can be a problem rushing from that 3 tech. I'm really impressed. And Dill, Eric Gentry continues to be Eric Gentry, like one of, if not the best linebackers in the country. Now what we need to fix, right? Now what we need to fix, and that is the secondary. The frustrating part about it, it's a combination to me of, I don't know how good we are from a personnel standpoint. Like, I think our boundary, and here's the problem, is it's not like the whole secondary, because I like the safety. I think Christian Pierce been playing pretty dang good football. Same with Bishop Fitzgerald, Kamari Ramsey at nickel. The problem is the boundary cornerbacks. And the issue that I have is it's both blown coverages, so mental mistakes. We're also just losing too. Like, we're also just not winning the matchups we should be winning. I guess I'll ask you, like, what do you think needs to change, or how do you think it gets better for USC going forward there.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the thing, like, because it's just you gotta play better. It's not like, and again, they're not like terrible down to down. They're giving up some huge plays, and they're giving up some big plays in the run at times too. So like that's obviously what this is all coming down to. Like, can you address the big plays you're giving up?
Yeah.
Again, the way I can live with that if I'm a USC fan is that we got a really good offense that scores when they touch the ball, and we're creating enough negative
Yeah.
plays. So it's just about kind of managing that because you're
Yes.
probably right. Like you just got to get more talent into this
Yeah.
room. It's just not
You have to manage okay, we create a lot of negative plays and we're really, really aggressive. And Lincoln Riley talked about that in the post game presser. But you got to walk that line. We
no,
can
but you
be.
got to let your dogs eat though. Is kind of what I'd think. Like
I agree.
who's kind of leading this team, and that's the defensive front.
Yeah.
So like you want to be able to play aggressive with that. Like again, like you're probably going to give up some plays until you get more of a rock solid unit, and the
Yeah.
talent catches up maybe in the back end.
Yep.
Because that's just kind of what it is. Like I don't think it's like schematically terrible or broken. Like
Yeah,
Dan,
I trust. I'll say this. I trust this coaching staff to fix the bus. And the frustrating part is I feel like I've said that, and we've seen a bust in every single game, right? So it hasn't really gotten fixed yet. I do think this is an elite coaching staff, and I would be stunned if this is a problem throughout 2025. My bigger issue is I just don't know if we have elite boundary cornerbacks, right? You got to figure out your guys is probably the because you're still rotating a decent amount. You got to figure out your guys and kind of stick with that. And I think that would help the communication and the lack of bust. You know, when you're rotating so many guys at that cornerback position, then you start you kind of lose that continuity. We'll see. Here's the silver lining for USC is that one, I trust the coaching staff. And then number two, look at the schedule. Like how many passing attacks are strike and fear into here right now? I don't know if there's that many, right? It's got to get
you can create enough negative plays. I still think you play an aggressive brand of defense. That's
100%.
why I'd be
Yeah.
leaning into the fact that,
Yes.
yeah, if we play really aggressive, we have guys who
Yep.
can make difference making plays. Like you go play passive and you take the teeth out of what your defensive line's
I agree
doing.
with that.
I don't want any part of that. Like
I agree with that.
I can live with a couple of big plays if we're going to
Yep.
create all these negative
If
ones.
we're creating a lot of drive killing plays, creating turnovers, creating game changing plays on defense, and then that comes at the expense of a couple chunks.
Because I don't want to see them play like some sort of soft zone where the ball can just get out of the quarterback's hands and you're taking
Yeah,
the teeth out of your defensive line.
I
Like you
think that's
probably
fair.
got to play the way you're playing and
Yeah.
just be better at it.
And just hope that this secondary grows up, right, and gets better. I know they're down a couple of guys, so we'll see if it's just look. I don't know if I have a great explanation of how it gets better, but it needs to get better if the USC wants to make a playoff, in my opinion. All right, we'll close it out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.